Hi, Susan Mayfield again. So after my daughter and I finished writing about the tiny seashell, we talked about maybe doing a second book. And I was asking Jessica, I said, well, so what would you like to write about? And she said, well, let's first figure out what you would like to draw. And I said, I want to draw something bright and colorful this time, even more so than what we did before. And so Jessica suggested that we do something about the rainforest. And so we had to work backwards on this one. We thought and thought, we were trying to figure what could be moving around the rainforest, because Jessica really wanted to make sure that we talked about all three different types of the rainforest. You know, what was up in the canopy, and then what was in the middle area, and what was down below. We wanted to make sure that all three areas were represented. So she thought of a little green frog, the little red-eyed tree frog. And we thought, well, then what could he be looking for? Why would he be going up and down the forest? And so we decided he was going to look for a treasure. I give you the little red-eyed tree frog. Again, I did it with watercolor is how I illustrated it, and with ink pens. The little red-eyed tree frog. Grown-ups say, you cannot see the forest because of all the trees. Well, this means that you cannot see what is in front of your face because you're too busy looking all around you at all the smaller details. But sometimes grown-ups get too busy and they forget to look at the small things and life beyond their nose. There's a whole world hidden deep in the rainforest jungle between the flowers and the leaves. So as you notice in my drawings, on each page, there's going to be another little bug, a little bug on this side somewhere hidden, and sometimes there's a bug up above. So always see if you can find the two little bugs. Tucked under a hibiscus flower was a little red-eyed tree frog who lived with his mother. Little red-eyed tree frog spent his days exploring the plants. Nearby, he crawled up and down the vines, he jumped in and out of the flowers, and one day he grumbled, "There's nothing exciting around here." His thoughts were interrupted by a thunderous whoosh. He glanced up and saw a fluttering blue cloud swarming through the trees. Thousands and thousands of blue morpho butterflies invaded his backyard. His mother greeted one of the butterflies. "Welcome back, my friend." The butterfly said, "Thank you. It's good to be back." Little red-eyed tree frog asked doubtfully, "Why would you want to come back here?" And the butterfly replied, "We have returned to see the jewel of the earth once again." Little red-eyed tree frog bounced excitedly and thought, "A jewel? Where is this gem? I wonder why I have not seen it. Oh, I must go look for it." Little red-eyed tree frog climbed down his familiar vine and jumped across the flowers. Soon he saw plants he had never encountered before. He came to the edge of a pond where he spied a bright, shiny globe floating above the water. It glistened like a jewel. "This must be it. Maybe I can swim out there and bring it back." He inched closer to the water and was about to jump in when he heard a voice behind him squeal, "Ooh, I would not go out there if I were you. He might eat you." Up popped baby Tapir, and he said, "That is a crocodile, but it shines like a jewel," replied little red-eyed tree frog. "Oh, no, that is an eye belonging to a crocodile, and I have watched him devour many animals. Why would you think there was a jewel out there in the water?" "Well, I learned that there was a jewel in the rainforest, and I'm going to find it," said the little red-eyed tree frog. Baby Tapir offered, "I've been digging around here scrounging for tasty treats, and I have never discovered a jewel. If I were going to hide something special, I would put it up high out of reach." So little red-eyed tree frog continued his journey and scrambled up the rainforest canopy. He met a chameleon. He explained how he was looking for a jewel. Chameleon said, "What good is a jewel? All I need is a big juicy bug." And without moving a muscle, faster than the eye could see, the chameleon flicked out his tongue like a whip and gobbled up a caterpillar that was crawling nearby. He began to munch. A hummingbird zipped between the two and zigzagged through the forest. Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog decided to follow. Trying to catch his breath, Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog finally caught up with the hummingbird, who was visiting with Mouse Opossum. He asked the pair about a jewel hiding in the forest. Mouse Opossum started to say, "Well, I'm not sure about a jewel, but I heard over there on the next tree there was..." But he never finished. In fact, in the blink of an eye, he and Hummingbird disappeared. Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog instantly knew why they left without another word. There was suddenly an ocelot nosing around for a tasty treat. Little Red Tree Frog leaped into a snug shelter and held his breath. He could feel the ocelot's whiskers brush against the flower he safely took cover in. Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog came out to see the ocelot had left and if it was safe to continue. He peeked around a leaf and caught the glimmer of silver rings wrapped around a small branch. Could a jewel be attached to them? He crept closer to get a better look. No, the rings were claws attached to a sleeping baby sloth. Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog woke the sloth up and asked him if he had seen a jewel. Baby Sloth said, "Oh, all that is dear to me is sleep and lots of fresh berries to eat." And with that, he closed his eyes and began to snooze again. Sleep and berries. Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog looked up and saw two yellow-green eyes of a snake curled up on a branch inches away, staring at him. Wishing he was back home with his mother, Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog courageously asked the snake about the jewel. Slithering closer, the snake hissed, "Search elsewhere." Calming his nerves and being on the lookout for possible dangers, Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog was pondering where to look next when he heard a voice say, "Oh, mine is more valuable because behold how brilliant the colors are and how they go on forever." "Well, maybe this is true," said another voice, "but mine is just as colorful. See how large it is. Must be more valuable." Could they be arguing about the jewels? Thought Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog. Little Red Tree Frog was surprised to find two birds arguing about whether Toucan's beak was greater than Quetzal's long tail. He tried several times to interrupt them to talk about the jewel he was looking for, but their voices kept getting louder and louder, and they never noticed him sitting there at all. "Humph!" came a growl from above. "Gibberish! Why are you wasting your precious time listening to those fools arguing over something so silly? What does it matter who has the best anything?" proclaimed Elder Emperor Spider Monkey. He leaned in closer to Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog and asked, "What are you doing so far from home?" Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog told Elder Monkey about the returning of the butterflies and mentioning a jewel in the rainforest, and he was searching for this treasure. Elder Monkey looked at him. "Are you sure they said there was a jewel in the forest?" The tree frog nodded his head excitedly and said, "Oh, yes, the butterflies said they'd come back to the jewel of the earth." "Ah, the jewel of the earth." Elder Monkey scratched his bearded face, took a deep breath and said, "Then, my small friend, you will discover what you seek up at the top of that tree." Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog left Elder Monkey and slowly began his climb to reach the top of the tree. When he reached the top, he found a nest. Relieved to finally find the jewel, he took a deep breath and looked inside. But all he saw were 3 bird eggs. He was bewildered. I help you?" Frog turned around to see Harpy Eagle looking at him. Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog stammered and said he was, "I'm on a quest to find a jewel." And the eagle said, "These eggs are my family, and they are the most important treasures I could ever possess." Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog was so confused. He hopped out of the nest and onto the end of a tree branch, and he thought, "Elder Monkey said I would discover the jewel of the earth at the top of this tree." That was the cat that was bothering us earlier. But there were only eggs. Suddenly, Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog saw a whole new world around him. The setting sun made the rainforest canopy glow like fire. The river slithered like stars, glistened like stars. The beauty took his breath away. Now he realized what it meant to not see the forest for the trees. He had been so busy looking at details that he never saw the bigger picture. The jewel the butterflies were talked about was not anything like a diamond. Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog's rainforest was the jewel of the earth. Stay curious, like Little Red-Eyed Tree Frog. Seek your fortune, but never forget what the real treasures in life are all about. And always remember, please, to do what you can to protect our rainforests. Thank you.